fresh out the box.
Fresh California plums.
Welcome to another episode of Fresh Film Fridays, the podcast where two dudes pick the newest films streaming or in theaters and discuss them. Today we're talking about 2022's Hellraiser, which was directed by David Bruckner. I'm your co-host, Alec.
Oh, I'm Eric. Just kidding, it's Justin. But I do wish this was Eric, so I didn't have to watch this terrible movie.
Okay. Before you say anything, let's just get this out of the way. What is your relationship with Hellraiser in general? What do you know about it? What have you seen? Just let's hear it all.
Full disclosure, I have not seen any of the originals. This was my first take into it.
Okay. Do you know anything about, like, Clive Barker?
Nope.
Okay. Do you even know, like, who the Freddy Krueger or the Michael Myers of Hellraiser is?
No, I like Pinhead.
Okay, you know Pinhead. You know what his name is. Like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him other than he looks like a doll.
Okay.
Or she. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Okay. All right. So I just wanted to start from there. Okay, cool. Okay. All right. So yeah, so you're not a fan, you don't know much about it. Okay. So yeah, this is your first one. Okay. All right, and you did not like it. Let's hear. Why didn't you like it, Justin?
Well, basically, I broke this movie up into three categories, right, while watching it. One, did I think the acting was good? No. All the main, 4 or 5 kids or whatever that were in the movie, super cheesy. I thought, the main curly-haired girl and, her boyfriend thing, they were just screaming the whole time at each other. It was, super annoying.
That's fair.
2, I broke it up into, was it scary? Because it's a horror movie. And I wasn't scared at all. There were no moments where I was like, oh man, this is spooky. It was literally just skin peeling off the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3, did I enjoy it even though it wasn't scary or good acting? Because I have enjoyed movies with shitty acting, and no. So.
Okay. Is there any positives? Any positives at all?
I mean, it was gross, seeing chains ripping people's faces off and shit. They did a good job making you be like, "Ooh, that was disgusting."
Mm-hmm.
But from a horror perspective, it just wasn't scary to me.
Okay, so do you think Saw is scary? Are you into those kind of movies?
I would say Saw is scary in the aspect that it would be terrifying if you were locked in a room and there was a key in you or something and you had to cut it out. More so than a traditional Freddy Krueger monster chasing you.
Okay. Well, I think just to set the stage of where you're at, I guess, with horror films and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I didn't love this movie, but I didn't hate it like you do.
Well, I guess my biggest problem with it, which you can explain, is I don't think I got it.
Well, it's very different, honestly, than the original one. This is pretty much just Hellraiser in title, I'd say. That's really the only thing that's in common. That and a curly-haired protagonist. That's about it. The original one has Kirsty, which is a brunette, curly-haired girl, and she's a protagonist. This one has this lady. That's about it, though. Pinhead's in it, but it's a completely different rendition of Pinhead from the original one, so it's almost is this even really Pinhead? I don't really know. And, yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is, man, this series is pretty bad. This is, notoriously a bad series. People are like, oh, the first, 3 are pretty good, but then it's there's 10 of these, and all of the other ones are shit, and people love shitting on them. So, I think this is a step up.
There's a difference between bad movies that you can still enjoy because, there are bad movies that people are like, nah, that movie sucks. But I'm like, yeah, I'll watch it every now and then. And then there's bad movies where I'm like, I wish I actually didn't watch that. Jeez. And this just it was 2 hours long, and it felt really long. I paused it at an hour, and I was like, holy shit. And then I paused it at an hour 45, and I was like, oh my God. And maybe you can help explain it to me. So... Are these monsters demons or what? Who are they? They're
called Cenobites. That's what their title is, and they're as they say, demons to some, angels to others. They're almost they can grant you wishes essentially, and
But the wishes have catches because they're not good wishes.
But it's almost like the monkey paw thing or whatever, where it's you're I want to be famous or whatever, and it's it turns you into Hitler or something like that. There's always a caveat basically. So yeah, this is basically what this thing is, where it's there's this box, and the box basically, if you can collect souls in it, then you get to choose what you want from these Cenobites. And the Cenobites, people, like, at the end, that's that guy becoming a Cenobite. So I don't know, now he's one of them.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that. So I don't remember what his original wish was, where they put like that nerve pulling thing.
Yeah.
But his last wish was he said, "I want to be powerful." So were they rewarding him by turning him into one of them?
I think so. I mean, listen, I don't know everything either at all. Like, I don't remember what his wish was either. It was like, I want to be something. What the hell was it? And then they're like, oh, well, we'll put this like thing into your body that pulls on your nerves all day, every day.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious, by the way, where it showed his body being like reconstructed and healed again, and then the chain just went right through this chest.
Yeah. So I don't know. So basically, there's this like billionaire guy who's like, I'm so rich, I've done everything, I've been everywhere. You know, now I'm gonna try and like fuck with demons and like interdimensional beings or whatever. So he gets this box. He then has exquisite parties or whatever where the people then get like, you know, he kills the people, their soul goes into the box, and then he gets rewarded, but his reward is actually not a reward. But, I mean, like, dude, you didn't really... I thought the twist was pretty good. You didn't think the twist at the end where it's like the boyfriend, like, actually works for this guy and he, you know, brought her and her friends into this?
I mean, I feel like if this was any other movie, you'd be like, I saw that coming.
I didn't see that coming. I really didn't.
Really?
I didn't.
I mean, I didn't know that would happen, but when he said it, I was like, oh, okay.
I was more mad because I was like, wait, why is this kid working for this guy? Like, Voight, like, why is this young guy working for you?
Here's the thing that annoyed me. So you got this rich Italian guy, right? And he's clearly been betrayed in some way because even though he's like rich and eternal, he has this thing that's literally inside of him, torturing him nonstop. And so this boyfriend, right? I don't know how the conversation went when they first met, but the Italian guy was like, yeah, well, they can give you whatever you want. And this kid, who's clearly seeing this dude being tortured, is like, sure, like, why would I end up like you? So it's like, what'd you think was going to happen with that?
Yeah, that's the thing. I agree.
And then the second part to that annoyed me even more was the Italian dude trapped them in a cage. Like, he closed the door, which I don't know how these like super demons who can control chains out of another dimension can't get through a fucking door. But maybe it's a magical door. But then when it opens, he makes another deal with them, and I'm like, you didn't learn from the first time? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. It reminds me a little bit of 13 Ghosts, to be honest with you.
I literally was comparing. I was thinking while watching on the couch, I was like, I would rather watch 13 Ghosts. Because at least Shannon Elizabeth is in it. So. Yeah,
you got Shannon Elizabeth there. I'll give you that. But I don't know, man. I think the house was a little confusing to me too. So it's like the main girl, Riley. So like she goes into this massive mansion because she finds out like, okay, like this is where I need to go. I don't remember why, but she goes to the house by herself. She goes into Voight's house or whatever, and then the demons can't get in there or whatever because, yeah, this guy's, like, built this house. He's like, it's not the trap, or whatever he says at the end. But the demons, why can they go in there? If you open the door, it's like, okay, I can't come in unless the door's open?
Yeah, so if I understand correctly, this rich guy put the cube thing in the safe in the warehouse. I'm not sure if it was to hide it forever. That's what's also confusing. So they put it in the safe, and then he's working with the boyfriend, and the boyfriend said to Riley, like, hey, there's like this super expensive thing that like no one is looking at, and they steal it. And then she stabs her finger on it, which everyone else who stabs their finger on it immediately chains like a rip in their to shreds. But they somehow make a deal, and they're like, if you bring us more souls, we'll like give you your brother. I don't know why they made a deal with her, but they did. And then they go to visit his old assistant lady, who she stabs, and then that's how they end up at the mansion, because they mentioned their name and they went there. But when they were going after the assistant lady, can no one else see them? Like, where was the staff?
See who? The demons, or see these people coming in with the box and everything?
Like when the woman who was his old assistant was like running in the elderly home place. Like, the walls are literally shifting. And I'm like, maybe can she only see it, or is it?
Yeah, I think it's only the person that got stabbed. It's like in your mind or whatever. Yeah, because it's almost like Freddy Krueger with the dreams. It's like they can't see it, but it's happening to you still. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it was super grotesque. Like, seeing chains, like when the chain in the beginning went through that dude's kneecap,
Yeah.
I was like, that's disgusting. And it was bloody and it did the job.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't going for like a stellar story and they just wanted it to be like brutal, like these demons who their faces are peeled off, their genitals are like inside out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they nailed that aspect. I just didn't understand why.
Yeah, see, the thing is, like, the original one is a lot different. Like, the Cenobites are still in it, Pinhead's still in it, and stuff like that, but they're not the focus. They're pretty much the focus in this movie, and the box and all that stuff. The original one is about this, like, couple that move in, and it's like a husband, his new wife, and the husband's daughter. And they're all moving into this house, and we find out that there's something in the attic that's like a demon or whatever, and it's actually the husband's brother who's having an affair with his new wife or whatever, and he died. So now the wife or whatever has to bring bodies back to the house to resurrect her ex-lover. But by doing so, she accidentally opens up this box to hell, and the Cenobites come out. That's what that movie's about. This movie's a lot different. Like, yeah, we have to like believe that there's this billionaire that's paying like young men to like go get junkies basically, or like people that don't have anything good going in their life to go rob this container that has the thing in it, which then she has to have friends or whatever. Like, yeah, it was a lot. It is a lot. I'm not saying it's perfect. But like you have to say, like, it looked good. Like the set looked really good.
Oh, the visuals were great. Like the shifting of the walls and the chains coming out of thin air. Like it was definitely violent. I just think they could have done a lot more with 2 hours. And I mean, would I like the 1987 one more or 83, whatever?
I think it's just more cohesive. Like it just makes a little bit more sense. And it's still pretty gross, but like it's 80s, so it's not like as intense. I will say this, and people are probably really not gonna like this, but like I still think the original Pinhead is better. Doug Bradley, the guy that played him, he played him in almost every single one of them. Like all the shitty straight to DVD sequels, he was in them. And I think for them to get rid of him, it just why? Like why? I don't know.
I mean, is he still like acting? Or?
Yeah, he's still around. He's like in his 70s, I think, but like they're not doing anything too physical. They're kind of just standing there saying scary things. I mean, I don't know. So I think having like whatever the person that is the new Pinhead, like she was fine. Like I'm nothing against her, but I'm just kind of like, well, if that guy's not dead, the actor's not dead, he still is around to do it. Why not? I don't know.
Yeah, Doug Bradley, lead Cenobite. Okay, they don't even call him Pinhead in the IMDb.
They don't even call him Pinhead in the movie. In the original one, that was like all people. Like, dude, that's the thing. Like, you watch the original Hellraiser, like the Cenobites are not the focus, even though Pinhead's on the poster and everybody's like, oh, like this has got to be like the new Freddy Krueger or whatever. They're not in it that much, Okay. It's a totally different movie. This movie's like, no, it's all about the Cenobites. It's all about that. So it's different.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is maybe, I don't know, he looks a lot older, but I feel like with makeup and graphics, and his face is all like white.
He's got pins all over his face. Who cares? So like, whoa. That guy doesn't look like he's like in his 50s anymore.
I think it definitely would have been cooler if they brought him back to do it, unless he just didn't want to for some reason. But I was not feeling the cast, dude. I don't know.
They were fine. There's nobody really, like everybody dies so fast that you're like, I don't really care that much. I will say this though. This is going to sound crazy, but it actually makes sense. The lead, Riley, is actually the daughter of Tommy Pickles from the Rugrats.
I'm sorry, what? What do you... Like in real life, what do you say?
All right, so the woman that voices Tommy Pickles, her name is Pam Adelin, and that's the mom of this woman.
Okay, so one of the twins in Rugrats.
No, so Tommy Pickles, the lead, like bald baby.
Okay, right.
The voice of the character is a woman.
Yeah.
And that's this actress's mother in real life. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's a very roundabout way of getting there, but...
All right. Interesting. Yeah, I just wasn't feeling them. And, like, in this one, it says Jamie Clayton, who was Pinhead. It just says the priest. It doesn't even say Cenobite, Pinhead.
Leader of the Cenobites. Yeah, but it does... Yeah, you're right. As the priest. That's it. Yeah.
So, I guess for... or younger people or people like me who just have not seen it.
Yeah.
There's really no backstory, which you definitely can do in a 2-hour movie. So I feel like they I'm assuming they're going to make more again, probably. Let's see if this was profitable.
Well, we won't know. It was straight to Hulu and it came out like 2 days ago. So.
Oh, you're right. It was straight to Hulu. Right. It was filmed in Belgrade and Serbia. That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, so was that the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was filmed in like Belarus or something.
Is it just super cheap to film there or something?
I'm imagining so. Yeah, and they probably have enough similar looking backdrops to America. But yeah, man, like I'm not kidding. There's 10, the 10th film, Hellraiser Judgment. So there's 10 movies, dude. Like, and these aren't good, you know, like.
Were they profitable?
So here's what I think, and I'm not a Hellraiser guru, so I don't know that much stuff, okay? But from what I understand, like the first 3 were very profitable. Like Clive Barker was a big British horror writer. He was like the Stephen King of British horror writers in England. People loved the first one, which he wrote and directed, and it was his first movie. The second one was also very popular, very profitable. Third one's like, okay, I think it's run its course. But what they did is they just kept making them, dude. They were straight to DVD. They're not like great or whatever. But apparently there's certain franchises that like if you don't do something with them, you lose the rights to them. So then other people can buy it or whatever. And that's what happened. So Miramax or whatever, Dimension, like the Harvey Weinstein company, they were the ones that were making these just to keep the rights to them. And then when this all happened, they lost the rights to them, and then Disney bought the rights to it. So that's why it's now a Hulu thing. So
the original Hellraiser in '87, the budget was 1 million. I think that's a pound symbol, 1 million pounds, and the gross worldwide was 14.5 million. It almost 15 times its profit. Yeah, and I'm assuming, like you said, they made the first 3, they were profitable, and they did the rest either for the fans or maybe they were profitable a little bit, or they just didn't want to lose their rights or something.
For a little bit of context, the latest one before this, it was called Hellraiser Judgment, came out in 2018, straight to video on demand or whatever. Budget was $350,000, and it made $426,000. So I don't know who the hell this is for, but is it really worth it for $100,000? Is it? I don't know.
I mean, I'm imagining if you're the original actor or one of the original cast, and like the first movie you made like $1 million, and then by the 5th one you're making like 75,000, you'd kind of be like, this sucks.
Right, exactly. And I think that's what happened was like, yeah, this they lost the rights to it, you know, Dimension, Miramax, all that stuff. So now Disney somehow acquired the rights to this shit. So
yeah, of all the movies for Disney to work on, this just seems like an odd one.
I mean, I don't know. People think it's going to keep being profitable. I mean, clearly there's a fan base. Like, there clearly is. I don't know. Anytime I ask people, I'm like, oh, you like Hellraiser? People are like, it's all right. Like, I rarely meet people that are really passionate.
Have you spoken to anyone who, like, saw it in theaters or was, like, you know, in their 20s or 30s back when this came out? Because maybe they're bigger fans.
The original one, you mean?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I haven't really met anybody. Because that movie came out in 87, so, I mean, I don't know. Gotta meet somebody from, like, who's born, like, 1969, maybe? 70?
Yeah, like our parents' age, basically.
Yeah, and my parents definitely didn't. I don't know. I mean, it's a very, like, acquired taste, dude. Like, imagine 1987, you're going to see, like, an S&M demon movie. Like, that's a very specific kind of person, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was fine. It wasn't amazing. If they make a sequel, I don't even really know if I'm that interested, honestly. But what were the reviews for this, though? They seem like they were doing pretty well.
Got a 6.2.
Okay, it's not
great. I mean, only 10,000 reviews, but still not bad. The reviews, just looking at them,
10,000 reviews. That's a lot.
I mean, in all of America.
Oh, I guess no, but I guess for 2 days,
300 million people.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm looking at a picture of the new Pinhead, and like it looks cool, but I don't think it's nearly as scary as the original one. I don't know. I'm biased.
Yeah, weird. Looking weird, dude. Honestly, probably the scariest thing in this movie was I wasn't expecting, like, the knife to stab through people's hands with the puzzle.
Oh, yeah. I
was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, that was pretty scary. I mean, I guess that's the thing, yeah, like, why didn't it ever stab Riley, though? Like, she just kept picking it up like it was nothing. Like, it just killed somebody.
She even put her finger, like, in the hole.
I know. She's, like, seeing it get, like, stabbing people. She's like, I'm fine. I'll pick it up. It's not a big deal. That was weird. But I do think, honestly, the scariest part of the whole movie to me, and I was just like, I kept looking away. dude, when that Nora girl or whatever, the roommate, is getting killed, and like they're just like stabbing the pin through her neck, and like she's like screaming, like that was intense.
That was cool how they showed the visual of the pin going, like they showed the inside of the neck.
Ugh, God, that was brutal. I hated that. I hated that.
But that's really all this movie had, though, was the grotesque gore and mutilation of the people.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, it's true. The original one's not as intense as this.
All right, so I found some reviews on Rotten Tomato, which audience gave it a 64%, so basically the same as IMDb. One 5-star review said, fantastic watch, a real homage to the original, but goes into a lot more detail, especially with the Cenobites. And then, right after that, we have a 1-star that says, terrible acting and story, not at all in the same league as the original. And then it's kind of mixed, 4-star, 1-star. I don't know, dude. I don't know how someone can say absolutely amazing. I love the storyline, which I don't know what storyline you're talking about. And then the next guy just goes like, wasted my time.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I prefer the original 2. I think the first 2 are really good, and then this one was okay. Like, it's not great. It's not like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where that was just like complete shit. Like that, I really didn't like that one.
The newest one?
Yeah, compared to the original one, like that was really bad. But that was a sequel.
I preferred that one, though. If I had to watch that or this, at least that one was, like, mildly entertaining. This one, like, I just kept being like, where is this going, dude?
I guess that's the thing. It's like, are you looking for something where you want to be figuring it out? You're like, what is this? What is next or whatever? Where Texas Chainsaw Massacre was like, okay, I get this. Like, they're just running from a guy that's, like, got a chainsaw. Where this one, you're like, I don't know what's going on, and I'm gonna keep watching, hoping I figure it out eventually, but I don't know. I don't really think the payoff's that great, you know, and also, like, when the girl Riley goes to that house or whatever, and her friends just all show up like it's a Scooby-Doo episode, they're like, oh, we heard you screaming from outside. I'm like, wait, what? What are you guys doing here?
Yeah, when the camera showed the female friend, I was like, where did she come from?
Yeah, they all run in, and you're just like, okay. And then also you'd be like, all right, we need to leave right now. Like, I gotta get my brother back. It's like, this is all your fault. This is all your fault. If you didn't go rob that box and take it and bring it to the freaking, get high and then bring it to the park or whatever, none of this would be happening right now.
You know what? You know what the ultimate lesson of this story is?
What?
Don't do drugs, because if she wasn't high on whatever she was taking, then she wouldn't have just been, having the demon puzzle cube out, and then her brother wouldn't have stabbed himself, and then she wouldn't have had to made a deal with demon Cenobites to kill all of her friends. So you know what, kids?
Just say no.
That's the real lesson. Just say no.
Get Nancy Reagan out here and just say no.
Don't do drugs because you might end up having to make a deal with demons.
Right. Exactly. No, I mean, and the brother, like, just like, you're such a fuck up, like, just them fighting, like, the whole movie, like, it was okay. It's not a great movie. It's not a horrible movie. I mean, I honestly, I think the 6-2 or whatever it got, I think that's pretty fair. That's pretty accurate.
Okay, so you would also give it a 6-2?
Yeah, I think the original one's probably like a high 6, like a 6-8, and then this one's probably like a low 6, you know?
Okay.
I don't know. I think if Doug Bradley was Pinhead and it kind of like expanded a little bit more on him, being like, I've been locked away for like years or whatever, like, or honestly, even if they did a Hellraiser and this was like a direct sequel to the original one or whatever, anything like that, I kind of actually would have been more on board. But this whole remake thing, I'm like, this wasn't really a remake. You just kind of took the idea of it and completely flipped it on its head and just used the title to trick people like me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 4.0. Yeah. For sure.
4.
Yeah, this was not good, not scary, would not recommend. We gotta stop with like the new age rebooting, because it's just it's not working.
I agree with you. Hey, listen, I'm totally agreeing with you. Like, either keep doing sequels with the same people, like this Halloween franchise. Like, I'm totally into that. If they made this a sequel to the original one, you're like, wow, it's been like 30 something years since that one, and I'm okay with that. But unfortunately, this one's like, hey, hope you care about new characters, and hey, you like Pinhead? Well, it's a different actor now, so I hope you like it. So it's a lot. It's a lot to make old fans care, and you could have been a new fan, but you're clearly not. So yeah, who's this for? I want to watch it because I like the original one. You are watching it because of this podcast.
Yeah.
But, let's say you being a new person who has never seen it like you are, maybe you would have loved it, and you'd be like, I want to watch all the old ones now. That's not what happened, though. It's not what happened.
Yeah, and they also have to think about like the newer generation too, because if you have like a 16-year-old, right? Because we're coming up on Halloween, you got a bunch of kids or something like, let's watch the new Hellraiser, and they might not even know that this is a reboot or there were ones in the 80s, and
Hmm.
they watch it and they're like, wow, that kind of sucked. And then like the dad's like, that was I saw this when I was your age. If they like it, like you said, they might be like, let's watch all fucking 48 of them. But now they're gonna be like, well, if this one sucked, why would I watch the older one?
Right. Exactly. And I think that's the problem with these remakes and reboots and stuff is it taints the original one for that exact reason. So,
Hmm.
I don't know. I think were we talking about it with like Point Break or whatever?
Possibly. I love the OG Point Break,
Right.
and the new one was just they tried to put a spin on it, and it just for me it didn't work.
Right. And I mean, I think most people didn't. So imagine like, yeah, like a 16-year-old right now, like, oh, like I heard Point Break's really cool. They type it in. They're not paying attention to the year. They just see the words Point Break pop up. They watch it. They're like, that wasn't very good. I'm like, you said it was good. It's like, well, wait, which one did you watch? You like Keanu? It's like, wait, he wasn't in that. It's like you watched the wrong one. It's like, I didn't really like it. I'm not gonna watch the new one. I don't know. That might be how it goes. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like, and I've been seeing this on Twitter too. For the most part, and there are obviously exceptions, but for the most part, and I think COVID had a big part to do with it. Maybe forcing a lot of companies to go straight to streaming, and I think it hurt quality a bit. It seems like there's a ton of quantity out there in terms of streamings and movies and what you can see on different apps, but like overall the quality and acting and storyline has just suffered significantly.
I think the only one that I was surprised it was straight to streaming, where I'm like, this easily could have been in theaters, was Prey.
Yep, I knew you were gonna say Prey. That could have easily been in theaters,
Yeah.
and is probably one of the best straight to streaming movies I've seen.
Yeah, if I paid to see this in theaters, I would have been pretty upset. But Prey, I would have been like, you know what, that was worth it. That was pretty good.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, hey, I'm not gonna sing this movie's praise. My roommate actually had friends over last night, and they asked me about it, and I was like, it's okay. I'm like, did you like the original one? Like, I loved it. I was like, you'll probably like it, but you're not gonna be like, yes, this is the Top Gun Maverick to our Hellraiser. Like, we fucking did, we did it, guys. That's not gonna happen. But anyways, I don't know. You got any last minute thoughts, or should we wrap it up?
Nope.
All right. Well, everybody, we are about to start our 13 days of Halloween. This upcoming Monday, we're going to have Halloween Ends, and then every day after that, it's going to be just a Halloween movie every day. So we are going to be stopping Fresh Film Fridays for the rest of the month of October. There'll still be episodes coming out, and Justin will still be co-hosting a few of them, but we're not going to be doing more episodes every Friday, so just a heads up on that. But we'll be back in November for some new movies, so don't worry. But anyways, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you soon with something fresh.